That's one way to do it. Now fuck you out of here.
Oh, yeah.
So, here we are. Here we are. After being on your podcast, I have to repay the favor.
Yes. Ditto. Same to you.
I'm so grateful that we can do this and be able to talk about your life this time around and who you are and what you do and why I wanted to do this. And I think you from the moment I met you, you've got this energy, you've got this persona, there's an aura around you, there's an energy that draws me to you and I guess people as well. Why? Well, where does that come from and why? Like, what is it? What is it that's been the driving force of being around the center of things and helping yourself but helping people as well?
Yeah, interesting question. It is an interesting question because there's so many layers to it. I think initially the first thing that stands out is that I love people. People have been my medicine ever since I was a kid. That's where I felt safest. And what I think I do consciously but also subconsciously is I see people and I invite their essence out. And so speaking of that aura, when I first saw you, I saw an energy myself. I saw somebody that excited me. And so when I see something I like, I name it. I name it, I ask for more of it, and that ability to see somebody, and when someone purely feels seen for their truth, not for what they're doing or how they're doing it, just for their energy, it invites this, I would say, this playful tennis match between me and them. And so taking myself further back, growing up with a huge family. Initially, I grew up as an extrovert. I was always about everyone and anything, and I wanted just to be myself. And so I think that has trickled into my adulthood of wanting to be myself, and the safest way to do that is invite somebody else to do the same so we both can.
And through that family, being in and around, your nonos and your nonas, your brothers, how did you break through to be that extrovert? Did you have to be the loudest?
Good question. So I said I begun as an extrovert, but I quickly became an introvert.
Why is that? What's drawn you to?
Well, it was
to find that energy within yourself. Or?
Well, what I mean by that, I would say it was a place I didn't feel safe. My brothers were so intense, and I was the most sensitive one out of everyone. And so that being myself felt dangerous because very quickly in a masculine environment or in more so boys' banter,
of course,
it was ammunition. No, I'm the middle.
Okay.
And so the banter,
no special
attention,
no special treatment.
Nah, bro.
The youngest one got the special.
I got missed.
Okay.
And maybe even in that, I always like to think we also create the world that we experience. And so I think I also felt that I could sit in the middle, and that was the sort of maybe son or brother that my family wanted me to be. And so it came a point where I realized that I was going to keep getting bagged. I was going to keep getting taking the piss out of unless I started speaking. And so I joined in.
Yeah, okay. And you got involved in that banter.
Yeah, if I used the weapons or used them as tools to get myself out of it, but also into the way things were. And I guess that's where maybe one of my first masks got put on in not so much childhood, but in early adolescence, of knowing that, I had to protect myself. And I wasn't a physical kid. I wasn't like my older brothers who could throw a couple.
Yeah.
The only thing that I could do is quit my tongue in such a way that I'd make somebody laugh or make them feel connected to me that would get me out of that.
Yeah, give you enough time to leg it.
100%, mate. You can't hate someone you like. Sometimes.
And with that attitude, where did you find? Where did you find yourself in and amongst your friends, and what kind of friends did you have, and what kept you interested outside of having, was there an escape away from that banter and that physicality of your brothers? Was there something that that drew you away from home in a sense?
it sort of became me. I think banter is a very interesting behaviour we do as human beings, especially as boys. Banter and jokes, they're also affectionate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm noticing certain things about you and I'm putting them in the spotlight. Sometimes when it's done in an inviting way, we can both laugh at each other or ourselves. Yeah. It's only when it's done in a certain way that is continuously cutting somebody down that makes them feel uncomfortable with who they are. And so I think it's depending on where we look at it. For me, within my family dynamic and whatnot, I also, they were my role models. And so I wanted to be like my older brothers and whatnot. I really saw safety within them. I also saw, I guess, a way of being that felt cool to that younger version of me. Yeah. And so I wouldn't say I was running away from that. If anything, I was taking notes. Some of the notes I was practicing, some others I was noticing not to practice within my life. And the way in which that came about is I have a younger brother, and I would always let him know that, look, I'll give you directions in life, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. And why would I say that? Well, it's because I continuously was told what to do from my older brothers, especially my eldest brother, who I really looked up to and idolized. And where there was a break within me following orders came from the first moment where I realized that I don't think my older brother knows what he's doing.
But do any of us do?
No, they don't. But I think when we look up to role models, when we idolize them, they no longer become role models. I'm blindly following someone. A role model actually shows me their imperfections. A role model is showing me a role, and they're modeling it in a way that I want to be. And when that role model doesn't model it in a way that I would want to be it, then it breaks that kind of spell of the idolization.
The purest way,
100%. Yeah. And so for me, it happened over a myriad of times, but it was when we were on a Europe trip.
Okay.
I was 20.
20, yeah.
I was 20. It was set up for failure, Phil. It really was.
And why did you leave? Was it just one of those Kentucky? What was it?
So what it was, and I'm sure the listener can understand, my brother and his partner at the time, they had a friend's family. That was the crew. Yeah. And legends.
Yeah.
Peter Mikulik, Morello was part of that.
Yeah, I know.
Sharon, obviously, was my brother's partner at the time, who I still have a deep love for. She's fantastic and was fantastic for our family. And there had been this Europe trip that had been curated and created from them two. They were the nucleus of this family. Then they broke up. I had a partner who was Sharon's best friend. We broke up.
Yeah, okay.
But
so the domino effect.
But 20-year-olds not realising the mature choice would be to go on different trips. We still hung on to the trip.
Oh, right.
So we're going over with our ex-girlfriends, my brother's ex-fiancée.
That's a recipe for disaster.
We're leaving on Friday the 13th, by the way.
No.
What's going on here? I'm spiritual, I'm connected, what am I doing? But again, not really listening to the cues that we need to do some deeper thinking, running away with the thought of what we wanted to experience, and having egos involved, not wanting to let go of the trip. We went over there. And we kind of went over there as the brothers, me, my two older brothers, my younger brother, and then all the men around my brothers who were like brothers to me, Branka and Peter Mika. So we roll in there, hanging on to the trip. It started greatly.
Where did you guys go first? Where did you guys
Barcelona.
start? Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Yeah.
So we roll into this joint, and it's a Europe trip. And really, like, I'm sure you understand, I was just like my brother, so obsessed with the nightlife. We were ready to go to the big leads. Ibiza, Greece, all the rest, and just tear it up. Go fucking bananas. Really live that dream. That dream of like seeing the best DJs in the world with people that I love most, and tasting all the flavors that Europe has to offer.
Of course.
And so we come in there with that mindset, let's fucking go. So we roll in, land the plane, we do a gym sesh. I don't know why, because we care about what we look like. Then we roll into La Rumbas and we start drinking sangrias, and it's beautiful. The colours are amazing, the smells, everyone's looking at us because we've got this energy. All of us Volpes, we have this energy, and it does also come from my dad and my mum, but especially my dad, this openness that attracts people. And so that's what we're doing. We're going cafe to cafe. We then go to this little piazza. Out of nowhere, as we're drinking, this soccer ball rolls up. My brother Nick rolls it on his foot. Roundhouse kicks it, hits the waiter. The drinks go up. We start running. We then, out of nowhere, go to the beach. We jump in the water. We're drunk. As we get out of there, we go to this random Jamaican little spot. He starts smoking a joint. He hands it to us. We're high. We're doing this. We're going fast. Yeah. Very quickly, we were fucked up.
Yeah. And this is day one.
This is day one. Day one. And it gets to the point, it's about 1 a.m. We just had this dinner, and in reflection, we were terrible guests. But in that 20-year-old mindset, we were the coolest cats.
We were the
in room.
best.
We were the best. We were making a ruckus. Because that's what we do. Some of the brothers, though, Nick and Paris, Branca, they go, we've got to go. We've got our beef for tomorrow, man. We've had a great day. Let's go to sleep. Now, my role model, my idol at the time, my brother Jesse, he's a machine. He looks at me and goes, what the fuck are you doing? I go, what do you mean what am I doing? I go, what are you doing? He goes, that's it. That's exactly what we're doing. I didn't understand what he was meaning, by the way. I just knew I had to do. Whatever he said, let's do it. Because we're party animals. That's what we do. He goes, let's get out of here. So out of nowhere, my eldest brother Jesse takes me to a club called Opium. It's on the beach. We roll in there and we rock. For those that don't know what rocking is, it's dancing. Yeah. Rolling the shoulders, kicking the heels. We're tearing up the dance floor. It's sick. We then get to this table, and I'm hammered, man. I've been drinking all day, and guess who's there? Sharon and Julia.
Oh, no way.
Both of our ex-girlfriends, and Tiffany, who's still a sister of mine. But we say hello. We're friendly and whatnot. So we sit on the table. Now, by the way, they weren't just there. Who was also there was this French girl who I was hooking up with as well. So I'm on a table with my ex-girlfriend and whatnot, hooking up with this French girl, and I'm being so ignorant. Ignorant's fine. I'm being so ignorant. I'm drinking everyone's drinks on the table. I'm just talking smack. I'm not even there. I'm not. How could I be? And as I'm in that sort of ignorance, I move my hand and I knock a champagne bottle, one of those ones that have the sparklers coming out of it, 500 euro deep, and it was these big American like NFL players. They were massive. And they're like, you got to pay for that, bro? And I looked at him and I was like, I couldn't really get my speech together. And then the other one comes, you got to pay for that, bro? And that's the last thing I remember. The next thing that happened was I start opening my eyes and I've got a panini in my hand. Can you imagine?
The next day.
It's daylight around me.
Yeah.
That's the last thing. Boom, panini in my hand. I'm looking at it. It's got a bite in it. So I must be on autopilot. It's daytime. I'm 20. I'm in a foreign country. I was drinking last night. I got a panini in my hand. And as I'm trying to come to with everything that's happening and where I am and what happened, the waitress comes over and she starts barking at me to pay. So I'm like, cool, I just got to pay for that. I just got to pay for that. ABC, what's the next thing I got to do? I got to pay for that. Where's my wallet? Shit, oh my God, my wallet. Oh shit, I put my passport out last night. Where's my passport? Barking in Spanish. I throw the simplest Spanglish at her. I don't know what's happening. I don't know where I am. I'm in a panic. She's seeing me in a panic. She just kind of takes note. She goes, get out of here. So I stand up, walk out. I see Opium. It's the
nightclub.
The nightclub across the road. And I'm like, what's going on? I'm still in everything. I don't know what time it is.
Where's your brother?
That's the thing that I ask.
Yeah.
Where's my brother? Where the fuck's my brother? And holy shit, we're meant to catch a flight. I don't even know what the time is. I don't even know watching me. I start running. And I start legging it. I'm running. Just get me back to the hostel because my brothers will be there. Of course my brothers will be there. They wouldn't live without me. Get to the hostel. The girl there, let's just say her name's Camila for this instance. She looks at me. She goes, Jarrah, there you are. I go, Camila, I don't know what's going on. I've just woken up eating a panini. Anyway, where's my brother? She goes, don't worry. Turns back, hands me a note. 20 years old in a foreign country, I get a note. I read it. It's from my younger brother, of course, Paris, what a champion. Hey, Ledge, heard you on fire last night. Heard you with this French girl and whatnot. We've taken off because there's flights leaving every hour to Ibiza. We'll see you there. Love ya. What happened from then on, Phil, was a myriad of heartbreak, was a myriad of terrible things happening left and right. I didn't get my passport replaced for 3 days. And when I finally got to Madrid to get my passport replaced, the guy there just like told me it straight. He goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" And this whole time, what started to really sit in was this feeling of being abandoned by my brothers. And
Okay.
it really pained me. And when I got to my brothers eventually, we didn't have the tools to have a conscious conversation. They were very apologetic, especially Nick and Paz. But what did we do when I saw them eventually? We just kept partying. We just kept partying. What kept happening? The universe kept slapping me left and right. We got jumped in Croatia. We lost more money. Other brothers nearly missed flights. I didn't leave them though. I stayed with them because I knew what the feeling was when you didn't know where you were, but also who you were with as well. And I suddenly started to really just see the behaviors of my brother and how it was just getting us into trouble. And I was getting in trouble because I was just following what my brothers were doing.
So the choices they were making were resonating with what you were doing, and
Of course.
and what you were in, and how you were ending up in a situation that you probably would have rather not to.
Cracked the veneer. And I came back from this Europe trip 15 grand in debt because I borrowed the money to go over there.
Of course, we all did at 20.
10 kilos overweight.
But the partying didn't.
I just kept eating in Italy, bro. I had to eat the feelings away.
What happened to the French girl?
The French guy, I don't even know. To be honest, I'd hate to say this, I wanted to skip over this, but when I realised my brothers were in Ibiza, I then worked out quickly that I could get my passport the next day. So I went out partying that next day in Barcelona again, found the French girl, said what happened. She could barely speak English, trying to retrace my steps whilst taking the same substances. It wasn't the best idea, Phil. It wasn't the best idea. And I didn't really learn. And it was just the universe slapping me, the world telling me, hey, make your own choices, because if you keep following everyone else's script, you're going to live a nightmare. And that's what it was. And I sadly came back with a story that's hilarious. I have many other chapters in there that I could tell. But again, it was a consistent narrative of like the world slapping me around and asking me to grow up.
And when did you grow up? Actually, I've got one more question before we move on to you growing up, because it sounds like your dad grew up pretty young. And it sounds like Dad was a driving force of the Volpe family, and has turned boys into men real quick. But each of you have, and I have met, I think, 3 of you. I met a cousin that you didn't even know you had a cousin just recently. But you've all got there's an energy.
Yeah.
There's definitely an energy, and. Is he an immigrant here? Was he born here, or what's the backstory of the family, or the Volpe family?
So my dad is the OG Volpe, and what I say by that is that he has his own narrative going on all the time. He's living in his own world, and he's inviting everyone in it. He's a storyteller, he's an extrovert, and he's a man of the people, and that's where we get that from. My dad came here, I think, when he was 2. Something like that. My nonna came out first, and my dad...
From when?
From Italy.
But
yeah,
where
Calabria.
Calabria.
Yeah, and then my nonna came out with my dad when he was 2, and I'm not really sure where my dad gets the gift of the gab. I think he grew up back in the day where he was an immigrant, so they were staying in a house with 7 to 10 to 15 Italians, where everyone's business was everyone's business. And he was also the golden boy of the family. And my dad, I think, lived a very interesting childhood. He lived one where, he was the golden boy, but he was also an Italian boy living in an Australian world, but also feeling very Australian at the same time within a place where there was vast racism, and he had to use that gift of the gab to get him out of a lot of trouble. Sounds like
creating his own opportunities. Yeah,
100%.
Of course.
But my dad, he just saw power in people again, found safety in them, realised that it was the people that make the place, always. And he had a long journey of finding himself and eventually working with youth and being a youth worker.
Okay.
And that's just followed him ever since. It's funny, someone's strength is normally their biggest weakness. It's shielding that. I feel safe with people because I might not feel safe with myself. Yeah. I feel power in people because I didn't find the power in my circumstance. So I had to lean. I had to be not independent, but interdependent. That's how we all should be. And my dad was also working with the church once upon a time, and they actually gave him a house in Kensington. And the rule of the house, in the gift of it, was we'll give you this house, but your door is always open. And so that's why we always had people in our house. That's why when I'm driving with my dad even today, he might pull over because he'll see someone he knew, because he'd give them the room that was gifted to them from the church through him.
Mm-hmm.
And that continued with other houses and whatnot. And so seeing people for who they are, that talent I told you from the start, that's all we always saw it. You know, for me, I got so much confusion out of the segregation and whatnot, because, you know, we had everyone staying at our house. You know, we didn't have a lot of money growing up. I never had to beg for food or anything like that, but I never thought I was poor because I was in so much richness of my company.
Yeah, okay.
And so I guess that's where that came from. And my dad, you know, no one's perfect. Yeah, he was able to give us a belief that we could get anything, and we could get anything if we just asked for it. That was his biggest teaching. Just ask for it and believe in people, because if you believe in people, they'll believe in you.
Mm-hmm. Do you think, so to draw on comparisons, are you the closest to your dad in terms of how you've turned out, in terms of how your moment of parity in your early 20s to work out where you were going to go? Obviously you couldn't lean on your brothers anymore. Was it drawing on dad's influence on how he, you know, wanted to give back and find strength in people as well, and in himself?
Look, I think the making of a man is when we make our own choices, when we stop following everyone else.
Yeah.
And I think that the biggest moment of manhood is when I stop listening to my dad and take his advice, but also live my own life.
Mm-hmm.
All of us brothers are very close to my dad. There's no one that is living his script any better or worse. All of us are still here for each other. And even though there was that break in the facade of my brothers and following them and making my own choices, I still would lean on them in certain ways, but also just have my own thoughts and bring that into the picture and claim that knowledge, claim my experience, claim the shit that I know from the life that I've lived, not just following somebody else's understandings as if that is gospel, which is still my doing. It's not their fault. It's just the way in which I was led into the world. I think all of us have taken that gift of the gab from my dad and used it in different ways, but it would be an absolute insult to not bring my mum into the equation. My mum has the biggest heart out of anyone that I've ever connected with. She's the one who taught me to love despite being hurt. I feel that, not out of all the brothers, I think we all have our certain connection, but I truly believe my biggest gift is grabbing everyone with what my dad's able to do, the show, the persona, seeing people for who they are, but then inviting them into the depth of my fractured heart, which is what my mum taught me to do.
And that warmth.
And that's what she has. Yeah. You know, a big moment was when my brother Jess got married to my now sister Liz. You know, you have the best speakers this side of the pond. You had Morello there, you had Mika, you had my brother, you had the Volpes, you had people that knew how to construct sentences in such a way that spoke to people's hearts and entertained them. I was shit scared being the best man. My mum steps up, and there's a great quote that I'll always parrot, in that your energy introduces you before you do. And just that love seeped through her in her speech. And it just changed the atmosphere, the chemistry within everyone. And so, no, I'd say that my journey to manhood has been, one, making my own decisions, but also learning how to be brave enough to live in my heart. Mm-hmm. And I would say also that is recent. I say there are certain steps that I've taken within that moment of that break, within the Europe trip, within the moment of going and having my own overseas trip solo. That was another big hit into that. Within having my heart broken and having the universe telling me later in my life again and again, hey, trust you, not everyone else. Trust you.
Trust yourself. Trust your gut.
Trust your gut.
Yeah.
And then within those moments of trusting my gut, I've then gone, cool, I trust myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's a man. That's an adult.
And backing yourself.
That's it. Despite those who love you most telling you what they think because they want to protect you, or the experience that they've had, which is beautiful.
Yeah. And you can't discount that.
No, it's valuable.
Of course.
But when it comes at a cost of trusting yourself, that's the question.
And so you've come back from overseas. You've come to your trip with your brothers, and you're
fucked.
You're fucked. And you got 15 grand
there.
And from my understanding is that you picked up your shit from Melbourne and you went interstate.
Well, talking about that interdependence, my brother Jesse realised this situation, and he goes, cool, I want to give you an opportunity. There's, multiple sides to somebody. Jesse's an incredible businessman still. immense talent in that.
Yeah.
Great at making money, great
Yeah.
at building business. He said, we've got an opportunity in Adelaide. Do you want to go over there? It's got to be lucrative. And it could be exactly what you need.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whew, that means we're going to have to leave the comforts of home.
Were you living at your parents still?
Back then, yes. I was living at
So
my
the
parents.
pastas and the...
Well, my mum's Aussie. Remember that? So I'm an Oswog.
Yeah, you're
and
Oswog.
we're very Australian as well. And so, no, there was great food, of course. My mum, as much as I didn't say it on another podcast, definitely fed us and whatnot. But the comfort of home and what was known. But what was in Adelaide was none of the clubs, none of the vibes, none of the community. But there was an opportunity to make a mature choice and sacrifice this to get that. And so, yeah, we went over there. Me, my best mate at the time, my younger brother Paris.
Yeah.
Sadly, I persisted with my childhood romance and went into a long distance relationship, which was a great mistake for her and for me.
Yeah.
Both of us, moved into somewhat of a toxic territory because we're trying to hang on to something.
From a distance as well.
Yeah, it's
it makes
terrible.
it-
And it's an hour distance, but it was a long distance. And I had to focus. I had to choose me. And sadly, I tried to hang on to her at the same time. But, I then just used that gift of seeing people, that performer within me, into sales. And we absolutely lit the joint up.
Yeah, right.
Lit it up. Adelaide wasn't used to the flavour of Melbourne.
Melbourne, yeah. Oswog.
Oswogs, man, and we were shooting bogans in a caravan park. I don't know what the funny analogy I can put on that is. I was trying to say shooting fish in a barrel, but in that way.
Yeah. What were you guys selling?
Energy, electricity. And so we were the hardest sales gig of all time, which is standing in a shopping centre at one of those stands.
Yes.
Now, this is at the time where energy was the most expensive in the world in Adelaide and Germany.
Yep.
So people had a lot of pain points. And we had the gift of the gab, but we also had a product that was better for the month.
Yeah.
The way that the energy system is set up here in Australia is terrible. There's third parties selling the same energy at their
Correct.
own rates, and they just shift the market consistently.
Yeah.
But, we were living in an apartment, me, my younger brother, my best mate, and that's all we did. We just sold. And that's what we did for the next 11 months.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, sold my way out of debt, sold my way into a Jeep, sold my way into the idea that once I get that, then I'll feel how I want to feel.
Yeah.
And it was pretty amazing, man. It was the first time in my life that I realised what could be done with effort and belief.
And focus.
And persistence. Just persistence and consistency. And, we ended up getting to the point where you have to put through 400 sales back to back in 2 weeks to get management. That was the goal for me to hit that. That's a high task. That's a lot of sales. And again, we're in the shopping centre, one of those annoying people that are stopping you, and we're signing your energy on the spot.
What was your, do you remember what your intro was?
It was many different ones.
Yeah, depending on the person, how they dressed,
depending
how they
on,
looked.
mate, you'd pick something up and what they were wearing for sure. Start a conversation up from something small. The biggest thing in those places is how do I grab your attention? And so a big thing would be walking over to somebody and say, hey, which one of these energy providers are you with? As soon as they point to one that is not my own, I would then break eye contact and I'd shift my body and go, come with me. And I would move my body instantly. Now, when somebody puts their back to you and starts walking, people will follow, even if they're to tell you, no, I don't want to come with you. Now, once you've made your way to the stand, I then have my second opportunity. You've given me your first no, now I'm going to get your second. No, I don't want to do this. Hey, look, I'm not asking you to do anything. You've just pointed to an energy provider that I know is too expensive for you, and I'm here to save you money because you know that the most expensive thing in your home is your energy. Is that true? It is. So let's just have a look. That's all we can do. So, and I just, again, break energy again. So I'm not listening. I'm then owning the conversation. I'm breaking their understanding that they're in control. And I'm bringing them into the cyclone that is my energy. Now, that's one way of doing it. That's if I have to be forceful. Maybe I pick up something, hey, nice beard, mate. Where'd you get that cut? That looks pretty sweet. Is there a barber around here? Do you take care of yourself like that? Where are you from? Where am I building the rapport and whatnot in here? Now, of course, because I've been doing it every day, it felt so normal to me. I felt so comfortable. People would be coming up to me going, I'm so sorry that you do this. In the back of my head, I'm like, I've made $2,000 this week.
Yeah.
Sometimes 3. This week, I'm making more money than you.
Yeah.
But let that bleed in. I'm so sorry. I'm like, look, Yeah, look, it is hard. Who are you with for energy? I've had a pretty hard day and whatnot out here, but I'm telling you right now, we've got something great if you're willing to listen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what, darling? I'll listen to you. So it's being a chameleon with the circumstance and the energy.
But it's also your goal. And there's a goal with where you want to be.
And I believe it.
In that 11 months.
I believe it. I believe I'm saving you money.
Yeah.
Any salesman,
100%.
Unless
you've got to believe what you're selling. Yeah?
I believed in it.
I sold mulch, garden mulch, over the phone once.
Dude, if you believe in it.
Well, you can only believe in it for so long.
So you were literally selling shit.
Yeah, 100%.
You were literally shit talking.
Yeah. to old ladies, you know. But you've got to believe in what you sell.
Well, this is
you've got to.
Well, this is the other part of the situation. I believed in it so much, and I believed in the outcome that nothing was stopping me. There was a force that was the attractive nature that they go, what is this energy coming toward? That belief is attractive. So we hit the target. We sold 900 energies in 2 weeks. I made bank.
Yeah.
Hit the goal. It was Christmas. And in the celebrations, we got split from the group and whatnot. And we had a dear friend over there living with us. Well, he was living there. He was like Uncle Louie. And he just did everything for us. And he was one of those people that always put his mates first. And Louie comes over that night with all these slabs, and he was really tired. But he said, you know what, Jazz, I'm going to party tonight for you. We get split up. Gets to about 4 a.m. I've lost everyone. And Adelaide isn't that big. Somehow I lost everyone. I'm leaving
Again.
But this was my doing. Like last time, my doing. Responsibility in that. But as I'm leaving the club, I see Louis coming in with my younger brother. In passing, I go home, I fall asleep. I'm gone. I wake up. That's the sound I hear. And it was a thud. Now, we lived on the 4th floor. As soon as I heard that thud, I can see it now. I run out of my room over the balcony, and there's Louis on the ground, convulsing. Brothers screaming. Fight or flight. I went into fight, run downstairs, call the ambulance right now. And just looked at him. Ambulance comes, picks up Louis, takes him to the hospital. My brother is beside himself. I couldn't feel anything. I think my trauma got bottled up and thrown away. My panic got thrown away because my brother's freaking out. All I can be is this.
Someone's got to hold it together at that point.
I had no other choice.
Yeah.
And then proceeded a rolling of circumstance where the next 3 or 4 days realised that Louis was going to die. Here I was thinking I've just hit management. Here I was at the peak. I've just done 11 months of hard work. And now one of our best mates, Louis, a brother, Clappers, is dead. And my brother, traumatised. The universe, again, slapping us away. Partying that night. Being reckless. And look, what happened was just an unfortunate circumstance. It was an accident. But again, I wasn't able to have the conversations that were needed to be had in that situation. Spoke to my brother, kind of spoke to Louis' family, but it kind of just went by like the wind. It just happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then came back to Melbourne and whatnot. Life went on. We went to the funeral. And now I'm back. Paid off the Jeep. As in, I bought a Jeep, but paid it off. Had everything that I'd ever wanted. Had the dog. Was finally back with my girlfriend. But Louis was gone. And I didn't know how to really assimilate that knowledge, that wisdom, that pain. So just moved on. And then very quickly, the universe started teaching me in other ways that I came back to Melbourne and I didn't believe in the products that I was selling. I wasn't growing with it. I then went into the same sort of cycle. Me and my partner broke up. Again, I'm just back in the dumps. Fuck. I thought the debt was the problem. I don't even know how to deal with my mate dying. So I don't even feel it. And now I'm just going to continue living a script of I just keep selling because that's all I know what to do. Very interesting time for me.
And how did you pick up the pieces? So you've
There were no pieces to pick up. I didn't feel it.
Okay.
This is the interesting part of the story. I speak to it. I feel the emotion right now. But I didn't leave space for me to feel it because all I was thinking about was my younger brother. He was traumatized. All I was thinking about was Louis' family. But I didn't have the emotional literacy, space, awareness to even know how to feel that. I didn't. I wasn't taught that. Me and my family always have spoken about our emotions to a certain extent. But I didn't truly know how to unpack that and provide myself space.
And what did you run to? What was your vice? What was your escape in all of that? There's obviously
Thinking back to it, it was just to act as if nothing happened.
Okay. Which is what our generation has done.
Move on.
You know, I something similar where I played football overseas, came back, didn't fulfill a dream that I wanted to do as well, and came back and fell into everything other than being a man.
Yeah.
And ran from that for years. And it wasn't until you realize what you're doing is that you're not just hurting yourself, but you're hurting everyone around you.
100%.
Until you grab that, bull by the horns and say to yourself, well, something needs to change.
Well, the thing was, I don't think I was hurting anyone around me, but I was hurting my opportunity that the universe was presenting me. I don't think everything happens for a reason. Of course, there's reasons why things happen. But I'm not sitting there going, oh, Louis' death happened for a reason for this to happen. No, it's unfortunate and it's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And I hate that it happened for his family and for us.
Of course.
He was family to us. But within pain, within trauma, within these cuts in ourselves, there is immense opportunity. There was an immense opportunity in me being so close to life. When I got lost in Europe, I was so close to what real life looks like when all the dramas and whatnot happens. There is learning, there is depth in that.
Of course.
There is fuel to my fire if I allow it to be put on it. When Louis died, immense opportunity to really think about what are we doing? How are we doing it? How is this taking away from our life force? And what is the offering here from the universe and what it wants me to understand? Again, we dealt with it the best we could with the tools that we had. And my brother went to therapy and whatnot and has gone on an incredible journey with an understanding and how that plays a role in his life. But the reason why I speak to it, because there was another moment within my experience that the universe was not just asking me to grow up, but look in.
So after the breakup, there's this moment now, and from my understanding, there was a trip that was there's a defining moment to all of this one leading up to it. From my understanding, and we don't have to talk about the breakup, but so this is you've won it. You need to go away, and
I'll put you on fast forward.
Good show.
Lived the life, broke up with my partner, toxic breakup, ended up going to Europe again, terrible trip, tried to save the relationship, came back, broke again, living the cycles, learning, not learning, breaking, finding my place, not finding my place, ending up getting to this point in life where I was fucking living the postcard of what I thought I wanted, working at this super slick, super fly cafe, getting a lot of attention there, getting a lot of money for doing a job that was too easy for me. And there was this moment in time where I just had this opening in my head, and it was, if you don't leave now, you never will. And I've tried to go to Europe twice, I failed twice. This is your moment. And there was also a moment where the people I was working for, I realized weren't in it for the people, which is my biggest value. They were in it for the money. I get it, it's a business, but without the people, you make no money.
Money, of course.
And so I gave myself the gift that I didn't give myself back in that Europe trip, back in the one that came after. And I booked a one-way ticket to Cambodia. And yeah, man, that was the trip. And it was a trip in every way. I started in a place that you're familiar with, working with kids, Project Gen Z.
It seems this trip is the one that changed And not just our lives, but a lot of people's lives.
For sure.
You know.
And you know, Liz Volpe, my sister, that woman that my brother married, speeches as I was talking to, she's always been a great director in my life. And as we were saying goodbye after a month, it was kind of like a good place to set the platform for me then to go out there on my own. Because she was over there, she said, just make it your own and get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck it up. Do everything that I would do. And do everything that you believe you wouldn't do. And I just took off, man. And slowly what proceeded was me noticing myself in an environment without the people that knew me the most.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to make my own decisions. Realised who I liked, realised who I didn't like. And, you know, still fell and climbed, but started painting this story that was mine. And it felt so romantic.
And what was happening over there? Where did Cambodia take you to, and what are the people like that you met? And
Cambodia was phenomenal.
what was the?
But I would say for the sake of the story, I was in Cambodia for a month. Now, after I left Project Gen Z and really fell in love with the kids that we were working with over there, which is an epic project, I then went on the classic traveler. I was going hostel to hostel, vibe to vibe, drink to drink. And then I was just living with an idea that there is no plan. I wanted to be that guy at the bar that you'd have a drink with.
You were the dude.
I was the dude.
You wanted to be the dude.
But the dude that when you go, hey, I'm going here, I'm like, I'll come. I have no fucking plans.
Yeah, nothing holding me back.
And I've got a bank account full of cash.
Let's
fucking go.
Let's go.
Brother calls me, he goes, I'm in Vietnam. I'm coming. Go to Vietnam, get on my motorbike, go absolutely everywhere, tear it up, chase sunsets.
Opium dens.
Whatever. I really seeped into it, but it did get to a point where I felt unfulfilled. Been traveling.
How long were you away for?
4 months.
Okay.
And I met this girl who, I don't know. Of course I fell in love with her. I thought she was real cool. But she goes, hey, I think you need to go to Thailand. I was like, babe, I'm not going to Thailand.
Do you fall in love quick?
Yeah, very quick. I fall in love with the story. Sometimes I can mistake the story for the person, and that's where I get myself in trouble. I'm learning, slowly, still. But she directed me towards there, and it was the first time I'd ever connected with Buddhism. It was one of the other times that I connected with sharing in circle, where people would share their emotions and their experience in a very well-held space. And yeah, I got the opportunity again to work with kids. And speaking to, again, that feeling of like seeing people for who they are, working with kids is to be seen for who you are. If a kid doesn't like you, let me tell you, he's seeing you for a part of who you are. They can pick up your energy. And yeah, this was a feeling of like, oh, I want to give my love back. And I just fell in love with this orphanage, fell in love with this little random town in Thailand that no one goes to unless you're a teacher. And I really found the opportunity to give my love in a way that it was received, but also without conditions. And I lived with these orphans for 3 months. Too quickly I realised that I was the orphan that they were taking care of to find myself. And yeah, man, got into my heart. And again, consistently on this trip after that, I was just able to make my own choices and feel the magnetism of the universe gifting me magic when I just chose myself. And yeah, you know, Burning Man, other bunch of adventures was in there. Some things that we could speak about at another time, but for the sake of the story, this is when I came back to Australia, home, after 14 months, in love with the story, not the person. But with an understanding of what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to give.
Yeah. Which is, and this is, you know, where we're at now is where what you're doing now and who you're doing it with in this space in Australia, and you've dug in here and you're working the man cave now.
Yeah, the man
with
cave.
all these skills that we've just spoken about, what you've learnt and
yeah.
And so where does that and how does that come about, and was that a right time, right place sort of thing, or?
Well, yeah, I'd say it was the universe giving me a handout, to be honest. And when I say the universe, I just say opportunities come by all the time, and whether it's a placebo or a cognitive bias, but when we're aware of certain things in our field, we can pick it up. Blue cars, if I want to buy a blue car, I will see it within my field. The universe will show me blue cars, or my mind will pattern it into my reality. Whichever way we use it, this is just the way I like to speak it. But I came back and I felt out of place. I wanted to go and work with kids, or I wanted to go and give love in a certain way that made people feel seen. And it felt hard. It felt difficult. I think coming back from a long time overseas, for anyone, feels weird because people see you for who you were, not who you are now. So there's that tension and that heartache as well for who I was overseas. And there's a lot to that. It's a rites of passage, truly. It's about being recognised for your talents from your community. And that's why the family is the biggest medicine and the biggest pain, because they see you for who you were. And it's beautiful. But for the sake of this story again, I had a dear friend who was on the similar sort of spiritual path, a path of wanting to give. And I'm sure we've all had that experience where a mate tells you about an experience or a job that they're doing that I in this instance were like, I could fucking kill that.
Kill that, yeah.
And he told me about the Man Cave, a preventive mental health organisation that equips the next generation with tools to better their mental health, strengthen their relationships, and help them become healthy men within their communities. Give them the tools that I didn't have. Give them the tools that if I had them when I was in Europe, me and my brothers could have had an honest conversation. Give them the tools that when Louis Clappers died, we would have been able to actually understand how we were feeling. The tools that men haven't been able to acquire from certain behaviours or traits that hold us back as a demographic. That whole toxic masculinity. Sadly, it builds a toxic connotation to masculinity. But the reality is that certain behaviours and certain scripts don't serve us. Toxic masculinity, or those behaviours, kill men the most, and people that surround them. And so it was this feeling of like, whoa.
You got a spider on you.
Spiders like me. Thanks. See, that's love. That's cute as. Lucky we recorded that.
It's still recording, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So I felt a call, a depthy call of like, I'm gonna smash that. So I did the tryouts, and the main thing they were looking for was a person of experience, a person that boys could connect to, somebody that was connected to their boy within them, but that could offer them a role model that they could see themselves in. And that's what I did. I got the job naturally, absolutely consumed myself, 100% naturally, because I believed in what I was selling.
Of course.
I was selling tools to help you become who you are, but also be there for your mates. And I believe in men. I believe in boys. I believe there is beauty when given the opportunity. And I've seen it. I've seen boys hold each other as they've cried within a workshop where at the start they were saying terrible things to one another. It's just all about opportunity. Because the one thing that men always say at the funeral of their mate that committed suicided, I wish he told me. I would have been there like that. But the man didn't have the tools. And so I felt a call to the mission, and I've felt a call to the mission ever since. And that place has given me challenges. It's helped me understand consistently the ways in which I'm still living as a boy within my life, not making my own decisions, or living in integrity and practicing what I preach in workshops. Speaking one's emotions is scary. And having real conversations is hard, but the realer the conversations, the realer the connections that we make. And so that's been me for the past 6 years, working in many different ways. Now, I'm not working in workshops after this year. I'm working with the Man Cave in articulating our message online with other sort of organisations to help spread that, just that representation of what it could look like for certain people to be themselves and what tools that they can use to do that.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
Amazing. I'm blown away, and I'm blown away that you're, that's something that you're, that's where you've ended up, and it's all these realizations that you've had to live and learn and be be part of, and fall and get up and dust it off. Where to? What to after that? And what's the end goal in a sense, you know? Is there a vision to what you want to do with what you do, you know, with all of this? Because you connect with people, you help people, you make people feel comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I guess the spiritual journey I'm on now is creating a business out of it. Business out of being me. So, you know, I work with the cave. It is a joy. It is a purpose that's connected to who I am and what I'm about. I also am going out on my own in emceeing and being that face or that voice for certain individuals that want to put on certain experiences that connect the audience to what that experience or event is all about. To be that gateway. I believe that the ingredient to any good event, any good experience, workshop or whatever is the people that are attending it. Once we alchemize that energy, we can create the party of all parties or the moment of all moments. And so I use those talents that I've acquired through my dad, through my mum and the man cave to facilitate those moments. Now the word facilitator or facilitate is to make something easy, yeah? And so what I want to make easy is opportunities for people to be themselves or whatever the event wants to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that in many different ways. I've done events, parties, fashion shows.
No, there's one thing you keep forgetting that you've done.
I've done a podcast with Phil.
No, there's another thing. There's another thing.
What have I done?
Let me refresh your memory.
Oh wow, we've got an Easter egg in here.
There's something called the neon spectrum.
The neon spectrum. Yeah. Wow. That's. I was still trying to be an actor back then. And you know that's also something in me that I should jump back into as well. I think it's just like playing, really. Once I realized that I have ability, I then also realized to get the abilities I want, I just have to play and fail. Neon spectrum, that was a time.
And Neighbours as well? Was that?
Neighbours, yeah. Again, that was a dream of mine, for sure, to be an actor. I guess I liked being someone else. But I really struggled doing it because I didn't feel like I could connect to myself.
Okay.
I didn't know how to have those conversations. I also didn't know how to have those conversations within.
Yeah.
So I was asked to play characters.
Work.
I couldn't feel the emotion.
Yeah.
Neon spectrum. That's great. And yeah, also created my own podcast, Wogs as well. And all of these things are just expressions. I'm just trying to express a lot more and not hold myself back from expressing. That's truly where I'm at now. And what that looks like, I don't know. You know, I'd love to be a host on an awesome TV show one day, having that sort of platform to, be entertaining, but drop people into their hearts. Slowly trickle these learnings that I've had within my experiences, the ones that I haven't listened to, but I can listen to now, and just to like really get people into the human. Because from that place, I really think that we can make change.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I think that's probably the best way to finish it up. And I hope, I'm so grateful that we could do this. And I hope that you keep fighting the good fight, you know, and making boys men and talk about their emotions, and you know your path will find you, and your dreams will come true to wherever you go, because there's something there, man. There's something there, and I love it.
Thanks, man.
And you know, appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity to play a different role in the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice to think back on my story and share it. Yeah, I'm a storyteller.
You definitely are.
Yeah, that's what I do, and I think stories are medicine. I think it's what we're addicted to. I think it creates our understanding of the world around us. Fairy tales, Disney, stories on your Instagram. That's why they're there. And to reflect on my story and see the magic within it, yeah, man, inspires me to create some more.
Yeah, awesome. And I'd love to do this again when the time's right and talk about more stories.
100%. Yeah, well, we got to get you back on Wogs.
This was number 10 for me. So
this is number 10 for you?
I think so.
Chich!
Yeah, Chich. And
you were number 10 for me, you know.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. No way. Gee.
Really?
Yeah, you were number 10. 100%. Yeah.
Okay, you're my 20th then.
Man, get on the 20th, man. Well, this is what it's about, you know, really just encouraging each other to do what we're trying to do, which is just express and create. That's what you're about.
Yeah, exactly.
The mind of a creative. See it on my Wogcast. Wogs.
100%.
Shameless plug.
Thank you, man. Thank you.